Hi everyone, so I am here with a really special guest today on Candid Conversations, whatever I'm calling this show these days. I am here with a really awesome human being and now a friend, Pam Jenkins, the CEO of Shatterproof. And of course, this is a very important cause. Not only addiction and recovery and really, advancing policies and items that really lead to recovery, but it's also about breaking the stigma. So, in your own words, what does breaking the stigma mean to you?
I think it's recognizing that this is the number one killer of 18 to 45-year-olds, and we don't even talk about it because of the stigma.
Whew.
Right? Like, we don't even treat it like this is a huge disease that is killing people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. Not just like killing people, but like making people's lives so challenging, so difficult. People who are in the workplace, people who, like, I know, and many of whom we don't know are struggling because they don't want to say it.
Right.
Like, people are struggling in silence with this disease because they're embarrassed to tell anybody. They can't tell their employer, they'll lose their job.
Right.
They don't get treated because they don't want to acknowledge that they've got a problem they can't handle.
Right.
And it's, it's just then 80% of people with a substance use disorder don't even get treated because they're too embarrassed to tell anybody.
What drove you to become part of this organization and lead it?
I've spent my entire career doing public health work. And I've worked on AIDS, and I worked in cardiovascular disease and cancer. And it came to me as I began to have more conversations with people who were sharing information with me that they wouldn't share with anyone else because of my public health work.
Right.
And realizing this is the biggest public health crisis of our time. What can I do about it? Because 49 million people in this country have a disease that most people don't want to talk about, and most people aren't acknowledging, and public health hasn't done very much about it. There is no American Cancer Society for addiction, right?
There is. That's a great, yes.
It doesn't exist.
And not the same view around it,
There's no big national organization that has rallied research. There's almost no research being done. It's so little because of stigma.
I did not know that.
And I'm like, this is a point in my life where I've got to step up and face and do whatever I can, and we as an organization have to do everything that we can to change the whole dynamic, to change the situation in the United States, to attack stigma, to ensure people get treated, to ensure they get treated well, and to prevent addiction before it starts, right? There's way more we can do there too.
And how do we do that to actually start to advance the policies and the vision to make, to basically eradicate this awful disease?
Yeah, I think, there's no one single bullet, right? There's no one thing that we can do, but we have to fight it on every front. And that's what makes it really complex, but also gives me great hope because I know there's things that we can do. We can bite off pieces of this. One is to fight at the state level for policies to protect kids and to fight for access to care. We're seeing Medicaid cuts, we're seeing other potential healthcare cuts that could put at risk people's ability to even get treated for this awful disease.
Right.
And we have to do something there. We have to fight it in the workplace. We need businesses to say this is a business issue because it's affecting people who are working, right?
Right.
Their 20s, their 30s, their 40s.
Just starting out in life.
Exactly. And this is and they have a disease. They
Right.
can't tell anybody. They can't tell their employer. We've got to change that. We have to have businesses say, hey, this is a place that is a recovery-friendly place, and you can tell us that you're struggling with this, and we'll help you make sure you get that treatment that you deserve. Just like if you had diabetes or just like you had cancer, you deserve to be treated. And you should be able to tell us.
So let me ask you this. What is the one thing in your personal life, professional life, your mission, that right now gives you hope to keep on going, even when things get tough?
I think what gives me hope, well, let me start by you.
Okay.
Honestly, I think people who have been impacted, right, and who are willing to step up and speak out and say, we have to change this, and to recognize there's other families that are going to go through some of the same things you went through. I think your voice matters a lot, and the voices of people who've been impacted, those voices are so powerful and so important. and it gives me hope. And I think also when I have 3 months running Shatterproof, and I think as a national organization, thank you, seeing the impact that we can make in the state legislatures in Washington, fighting on the policy side to have like better situation for people in healthcare. We got to change the healthcare system, but we're doing it. We're doing it like one state at a time, one policy at a time, but the progress is there. And that gets me like really energized. And also, we already can see there's like we're making progress on stigma. The fact that we can be talking about this here and that people are listening and people want to do something, it gives me like I have great optimism despite huge headwinds. But I like deeply believe we're going to be able to make progress.
How do you embrace patience and persistence when, again, things might take a little longer? How do you embrace those things and still remain, in your mind, effective?
Yeah, well, I have great trouble with that.
I think we all do.
I'll be honest. Like I'm impatient, and I feel a sense of urgency, and I want us to feel a sense of urgency. And yeah, we have to take this piece by piece, right? Like for sure we have to do that because there isn't one single thing, but we have to do it with urgency. And we have to, I think, elevate in this country a recognition that this is the #1 public health crisis of our time. 270,000 people died last year of alcohol-related and drug. Like nothing comes close for this age group, not even remotely close. What are we doing? Like why aren't we doing more research? Why aren't we making more people have access to affordable care? Why don't we do more to have people in the workplace feel empowered to disclose and get treated, right? And so we have to have a sense of urgency. The patience is simply recognizing we have to do it methodically, we have to do it smartly, but we need to do more. We need to make it an urgent public health priority.
What is the one thing that you think people aren't talking about when it comes to addiction right now that needs to be at the forefront?
Well, one thing that I have personal passion around is protecting our young people. And I call that stopping addiction before it starts. I look at substances that are addictive and maybe not as big a deal if you're 30 or 40 or 50, but if you're 15 years old and your brain is still developing, being able to get at a gas station, Kratom, being able to get it at gas station Delta 8, no restrictions on these synthetic THC products or Kratom products, they are addictive. They took non-psychoactive hemp and have turned it into psychoactive products, and they're being sold in convenience stores and gas stations, and young people have total access, and no one is even like, parents don't know, and like, no one is even aware of what terrible situation we're setting up and creating right now that will hit us in 5 or 10 years when these kids are developing psychosis, depression, anxiety, substance use disorder. We have to do more. That's one area that, boy, there's something we could get on right now. We got to do that.
And be proactive instead of reactive.
Exactly, right. And this is the time to do it.
And it's not even like what hemp was designed for. It basically manipulates it from its original
That's exactly
source,
right. And it's being able to do that because you can, hemp has been, there's non-psychiatric, cut that out.
So if there is anyone out there right now that's struggling in silence with addiction and they don't feel they can turn to anyone, what would be your biggest piece of advice for them?
I think recognizing more people want to help you than you realize. And I think the embarrassment, that moment of acknowledging to people you love that you're struggling with this, get the courage to do that, because I think you'll find people want to help and they will not judge you. And I think people are worried that if they acknowledge it or seek help, that somehow they'll be judged. And I just say, the stakes are too high, your life is too important. Take that step, reach out, and I think you'll find that people will want to help and you'll get the help that you need. And also, seek professional treatment, right? This is a disease. And for many people, you have to have medical treatment to be able to get beyond it.
Right.
So recognize you have a disease, it needs medical treatment, seek that treatment.
I do this with all my guests, all right? Little speed round questions. Okay. What is one thing that you're looking forward to in your life? It can be anything. And then one thing that's giving you a little bit of anxiety that you're working through right now.
One thing that excites me is my daughter just had a baby.
No way!
And
That's awesome.
it is
Congratulations.
so cool.
Grandmother now.
Yes,
Oh my God,
I
that's
know.
awesome.
They say at work, Grammy Pammy, right? Like I'm just like
They should make a t-shirt for you with that.
Grammy Pammy. It's the coolest thing.
That's
It just
great.
it makes me feel a great sense of hope for the future and joy and and family.
Of course. And now, one thing that's giving you a little bit of anxiety that you're working through in your life.
Anxiety is the huge sense of obligation, accountability. We've got to drive change, and I feel a great sense of like personal responsibility to get this right. And that's something that keeps me up at night. Makes me think about it in the morning and when I go to bed at night. But at the same time, as I said, I have a great sense of optimism. We're going to drive a lot of change. We're already seeing how we've been making progress. There's so much more to do though, and I guess I'm both like feel the anxiousness but also the optimism and a great sense of hope that we're going to save lives.
You came into this role from the corporate world,
Right.
and this is a total shift for you.
Yeah.
Explain to me why you decided to make such a big shift from corporate career to a cause in this call for service.
Right. I think it's meeting the moment. And I think you come to a point in your career, and I've been doing this a long time, had a great job, no intention to leave. But I think this cause needed all that I've done through my life with public affairs, communications, public health. I just recognized there was this incredible opportunity in the intersection between all that I had done and all that I could bring and the need right now to something that is affecting so many families. So I needed to do this. For me, I think it's the right thing to do. I wake up now every day so grateful for the opportunity to make an impact that goes beyond what I could have done in the corporate setting.
Wow.
So this is a huge change for me, but it is incredibly energizing. I'm so optimistic. I'm so glad I did it.
What would you tell someone in the corporate world that is really doing well, that is rising up, that may want to make a career pivot all the way to something more service-driven that really fits their passion, but they're afraid of the money, they're afraid of all the other stuff? What would you tell them to get started on their journey?
I'd say have the courage and conviction to follow your heart. And I think at the end of the day, you recognize what in life is most important and what do you want to be able to leave behind. When your career is over and you're retired and you're doing, sitting on a beach or reading a book, what have you done to make the place a better place than when you were born into it? And for me, this is the right place to be. There may be another cause for somebody else, but I think people need to follow their heart and then just get a big ounce of courage and go for it.
I love it. Well, you bring so much hope to me. Pam,
Thank
you so much for coming on. You're the best.
You're awesome.
My
Thank
God.
you so much.
And thank you, folks, for joining Candid Conversations, whatever we're calling this interview series. I'm Tony P. We'll see you around soon.